In today's episode, it's our playoff preview special as it's Wild Card Weekend. So far, Texans and Packers both moving on. You're watching The Pitch. Welcome to our NFL special. As always, I'm your host, John Fox, alongside here with Mitch Sabatelli and Mike Peps Peroni. Now, before we go into matchups, Super Bowl predictions, excuse me. Peps, you can take this one first.
I believe that this is the Falcons' year. They made a statement win over 34-0 against the Giants. They got the bye that they needed. They have home field advantage throughout the whole playoffs till the Super Bowl. I believe that this is their year to do it, and I think they're going to make it. They made the statement wins and everything. Matt Ryan's looking like the elite quarterback that he's always been looked at to be. And I believe this is their year. They're going to join the Patriots in a classic top team matchups right there. So top quarterbacks, top offenses, and it's going to come down to defense and Patriots-Falcons.
Yes, at the beginning of the season when we first started doing the pitch again, I as well picked Patriots-Falcons to go to the Super Bowl. And I'm going to agree with Peps here. I think what Peps said with the Giants game, I think that was their biggest win in the history of the Atlanta Falcons franchise. Yeah. And like Peps said, Matt Ryan is playing like an MVP caliber quarterback that everyone thought he was going to be coming out of Boston College. So I really like what Falcons have done this year, what Mike Smith has done this year. Julio Jones really coming to his own as another number two option besides Roddy White there. Tony Gonzalez at this age of, 36, still getting it done. I still like Michael Turner there. I'm going to agree. Falcons, Patriots, I like Tom Brady to not lose another one here. I think the two, finally that Eli is out of the playoffs, I think that's a huge relief to Tom Brady. I think it's going to be huge. I think it's going to be Brady's year.
But his brother is back, but we'll see what happens.
Well, I'll take the Patriots as well. That's what I've been saying from the start. Patriots, and what I've been saying for the last couple of weeks, Patriots gonna be there. It's hard. I see the Seahawks and the 49ers as just two ridiculously potential teams.
I do. That West is dangerous.
The 49ers D, if they can just contain fully contain that whole game, like what we've seen from them this whole entire year is ridiculous.
And Kaepernick,
they're a scary team on defense, but we've seen as when they let it just go. I mean, they're horrifying. They're very good. They're damn well good when they're good, and they're pretty bad when they're bad. But
so you're going Pats 49ers?
Yeah, I still don't even. I really would like to even pick somebody for that for the NFC, but the Seahawks. I mean, this is a big matchup. We'll talk about it coming up.
Right.
Yeah. Seahawks Redskins. That's just a too close to call. And like what we were talking about earlier. I'm not counting the Falcons out. What we were talking about earlier.
It's that first game.
The first game.
If
Matt Ryan can show that first game win in the playoffs, that's big. That's a ridiculous statement saying.
Well, and like Pep said, is the number one seed. I think finally they have the home field. Yeah. I think the thing with the Seattle pick is that they don't have the home field advantage. Everyone knows
if I had to be just thrown on the spot right now, I'd say Patriots Seahawks.
All right, nice.
From what I've seen.
So you're not buying the only good at home thing. They're going to take it to the Redskins.
I think it's going to be a tough road for both teams, man. The West is very tough. The NFC West is pretty damn tough over there.
Yeah,
come out of nowhere. Yeah. They could.
Seen a show this year.
They went from worst to first.
Yeah.
Go.
All right, moving on. Let's get some end of the year awards right here. MVP, go. Someone.
You know what? I said last week that if AP got his team to the playoffs, I'm going to give it to him. I'm going to stick with that. 9 yards shy of the Eric Dickerson record. Just a huge recovery from that ACL surgery. I think you got to give it, as far as most valuable player to their team, it's definitely Adrian Peterson. And like we're going to talk about this game, when you throw Joe Webb out there, it's just Adrian Peterson on this offense. I know what you say about Christian Ponder. After Percy Harvin got hurt, nobody was giving the Vikings any chance in this year. But Adrian Peterson, insert Adrian Peterson, and he absolutely dominates the second half of the season. Yep. Throwing up absurd video game numbers, 150 yards, 200 yards. Still getting the touchdowns there, both receiving game and rushing game, to go along with that decent defense. But Adrian Peterson is the most valuable player to his team. That's what I'm saying.
A guy anyone, especially a running back, coming back from ACL, MCL injury, any of that stuff, is just unbelievable to come back and have the season that he had. He wasn't even supposed to be coming back towards anything towards the end of the year. Peyton was hinted at possibly coming back towards the end of last year, which is the reason why I don't believe that Peyton will win the MVP. I think Adrian Peterson deserves the MVP. I mean, I understand he could be the comeback player too and everything, but AP is the most valuable player to his team. Not saying Peyton's not. Say without Peyton, the Denver Broncos still have that stifling defense with Doomerville and Miller and Bailey, and then they have the offense too with
Decker,
Demaryius Thomas, and they add the tight ends too. So I mean, they still have weapons, but I mean, obviously Peyton Manning is just unbelievable year. I give him all the credit in the world. I think he should get the comeback player because he made an incredible comeback to get where he's at the top seed in the AFC. And I do believe that Adrian Peterson is literally his team. That's the reason why they got to that 6th seed. That's the reason why they got a chance.
That's how I feel.
And even I did say if he breaks the record, he'll get the MVP. But I still believe, even coming 9 yards short, I think he will still do it because unbelievable year. He deserves all the credit in the world. A guy who one year's all these fumbles and everything, all these question marks about him, has the injury, and then they think he's all washed up. Comes back out of nowhere, over 2,000 yards, almost breaks Dickerson's record. I believe that it's a great feat, and I believe Peterson has well earned it.
Right. So the thing that separates these two guys, in my opinion, is Denver did make it to the playoffs with essentially Mark Sanchez back up here, and they went to the playoffs last year. Adrian Peterson comes back from that injury last December, and all of a sudden just tears it up for the Vikings in that offense. I think the thing with Peyton Manning going to the Broncos, you can say what you want about him coming back from his injury. The thing is, they already had that core defense and that offense there. Yeah. It's not just Peyton Manning's team. It's also Demaryius Thomas, like Pep said. Eric Decker's there. Great offensive line there. Ryan Clady, and then like that defense with one of the best players in the game, Von Miller, Champ Bailey, Elvis Doomerville. It's not just Peyton Manning's team. It's more Adrian Peterson's team. That's why he's the most valuable.
And to think about it, you have a quarterback, no offense to Ponder, I mean, he's not bad, but he's not producing a lot, then AP's got an even bigger target on his back from the defenses.
Right.
He's up against the whole friggin' world, dude. Like,
for MVP, you'd pick AP.
Yeah.
But for comeback players,
players going to be Peyton Manning because what he's done for the Broncos in general, the franchise. And bring him to
but I think the critics are going to actually disagree with us. I think because Peyton Manning's the bigger
so who do you
name.
think's going to be the comeback player?
I'm going to say the
critics. If AP broke the record, he would, no question. I think he'd have it with the critics. But I think you're kind of right. The big name with Peyton Manning and everything.
In my opinion, if I was going to give them both the awards, I would give AP both of the awards. In my opinion, because of what he did. Yeah. This was in Christmas when he broke his ACL and MCL. That's going to be a year recovery at least. And he comes back and almost breaks that record. Yeah. But the thing is, I think the critics, because Peyton Manning's such a huge name, I think they're going to give him the MVP. And I think that they're going to give AP the comeback player of the year.
I agree that's going to happen, but I want AP to win the MVP. And I think that he can. So.
All
right, moving on. Coach of the year.
I'm going to go with Bruce Arians of the Colts here. Everyone knows about the Chuck Strong and the Chuck Pagano, the cancer thing. Great story for Andrew Luck to come back, but taking over for Peyton Manning and getting a double-digit win season here, and all of a sudden putting Indy back in the map.
To even have that type of mentality, to even just think that you'd be where you are right now if you were like the Colts or the Colts fans.
That game against the Texans last week was just huge. They threw a dart to T.Y. Hilton. I think it was 4th down. And this was a huge play, and this really showed me that Andrew Luck is for real right now. And this is all because of Bruce Arians. Everyone thought Chuck Pagano's a solid coach, but give us this inspiration of a lifetime here. Chuck Pagano goes out. Bruce Arians comes in with the help of Andrew Luck, and them two are basically like the 1-2 punch over there that moves Indy. And they're really showing everyone that they can possibly be a threat to win another Super Bowl here. And I don't think people are quite giving them a legit Super Bowl chance. But I mean what Bruce Arians has done, you got to give him the Coach of the Year.
You have to give him the Coach of the Year. A team that was supposed to probably be predicted to be 5-11, not even 11-5, maybe even worse than 5-11, coming back with this group of guys where like half the team leaves and Manning's gone and Clark's gone.
Right here for Reggie Wayne.
Right now he's a step on Manning.
And Wayne hangs in there, and then you got Luck, and it's arguably one of the best quarterback wide receiver combinations in the whole league. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Resurgence and the defense stepping up. I think it's the mix of Pagano's cancer and everything, and come back from that, keeping the team fighting, and the fact that Luck's a rookie, wants to prove himself.
And the whole loss of Peyton Manning.
the whole loss of Peyton Manning, And then you got the strong veteran force, Reggie Wayne, who's just been unbelievable receiving this year. I just think it's a great story for the Colts, and I'd love to see it continue.
It's reinventing.
I'd love to see them continue, and I believe Bruce Arians does deserve it, especially coming in with all the stress and all the stuff that's going on.
And he had to really
have to come in and make this and turn this rookie into his own, like in the player that he is right now. I mean, help him do that. And to think he's coming into Pagano, and then he has this another coach coming in, and it's like you have to work with him, and it's worked really well. So 11-5, you can't argue with that.
What's very underrated about Arians as well is they have a real tough blend of very young players and veteran players. Dwight Freeney, Robert Mathis, Reggie Wayne, and also the young players like T.Y. Hilton, Andrew Luck. Even their running back problems, Donald Brown gets hurt, insert Vic Ballard, he's a young guy, Arians inserted him into the offense very well. I think it was just a very efficiently run team, that's why I'm going to give Arians the play.
Definitely.
All right, speaking about luck, we'll stay in the category, Rookie of the Year.
This one's been tough. I am going to go with the guy, Russell Wilson, what he did with the Seahawks. I think what he did in the second half separates everyone. I think it's a real shame that Robert Griffin got hurt for 2 games, because he was right there. Andrew Luck was the favorite in the first half, but I think he had a couple games that kind of hurt his chances. He doesn't have the big, the video game type numbers that Russell Wilson had and Robert Griffin had. He was very solid. He's probably the most efficient quarterback throughout the whole season, and Robert Griffin probably had the best games. But as far as the most electrifying rookie and the Rookie of the Year offensively, it's got to be Russell Wilson, what he did in that second half of the season. That game when he had 3 rushing touchdowns in the first half, that basically sealed it for me. And, back-to-back games of over 50 points.
Would you guys say biggest surprise of the year also?
I'd say the Seahawks as a whole has got to be right there. But
Seahawks definitely, yeah.
Also probably the injury,
I feel
the
like,
recovery from AP.
Would you not agree that beating a team, regardless if it was a fluke or not, whatever, people make it seem like it is, I guess it probably is, but the Packers game, when they won that game and beat a team like the Packers, that didn't just elevate them to a whole nother level.
And they didn't really beat them, but
that they could just beat any team after that.
I think it was that game and the Patriots game and to the Sidney Rice thing. A lot of people gave him a lot of heat with the whole thing. Oh, did McCourts actually intercept the ball, which it actually looked like he did. But if any team did benefit from the replacement referees, it was definitely Seattle and Russell Wilson in that whole momentum thing. Next week they go in there.
I believe the hype has everything to do with it. The hype for Luck was ridiculous coming in. The hype for RG3 was just about as ridiculous. And Russell Wilson got none of that hype.
Standing at 5'11".
Standing at 5'11", stepping up, bringing his team, nearing almost the unbelievable comeback to almost take the NFC West if the 49ers lost, which they didn't, which they had to bye. But I just believe that Russell Wilson does deserve it. It's the players that aren't talked about that make huge moves, and I believe he is ready, if not more, than the other two, to come back and make some unbelievable fourth quarter drives and just show his clutchness. And all 3 of these rookies have shown unbelievable clutchness, and that's what you need to be. That's what you need to be a Super Bowl quarterback. In the NFL, I believe all 3 of them.
When you're 3-6 and you're with your backs against the wall, thinking about next year, that's clutch.
Not for nothing. I mean, if you took any of these rookies and put them in any other year, they instantly win Rookie of the Year. Even maybe a Kaepernick, you could throw in there.
Unfortunately, it's going to hurt RG3. I think it's either going to be Luck or Wilson. I got to go.
I think the injury to
Wilson too.
I mean, you got to give Luck there too, but
Luck, it's right up there because I mean, Luck. To think that they were supposed to be 5-11, pretty much like we're a really bad team now. He turned them into 11-5. The end with the coach coming in and Pagano being out and all the storyline with that could be that too. I think go either way, but I think I'd go Wilson because I think it's the fact that you don't really bring him up that much.
I think the thing that we haven't really talked about. I think the thing we haven't really talked about is the fact that. Pep said everyone was giving all the hype to Andrew Luck and Robert Griffin. They went 1-2. Russell Wilson comes all the way over there and,
You're supposed to be the bad. Matt Flynn
That's what I'm saying.
He
comes out there and he actually wins that job after Matt Flynn gets that huge contract. And, Andrew Luck and Robert Griffin, they already had that job. They were the guy. And Russell Wilson comes in there. Pete Carroll stuck with this guy. And, Matt Flynn was probably pissed because of what he was making for that money.
He kept him in the bench.
Yeah, that's true. Russell Wilson just was a huge season, most electrifying season of the year, in my opinion.
Definitely, yeah.
Agreed. Now, you said AP was your biggest surprise of the year. What would you say?
My biggest surprise of the year is Mike Shanahan and the Washington Redskins.
AP and Pittman.
AP Pittman, yeah.
My biggest surprise of the year is a team like that's why I thought it was funny that you brought that up. A team that's 3-6 with a rookie quarterback and all the pressure and everything's on him to be the best, and they want him to be the best. And it's like the other Luck in a sense. They expected him to be very good, great. They expect them to be better than Indy. And like, oh, what's going on? All of a sudden, he flies out of nowhere, 6 wins in a row, fourth quarter drives to take down big teams like the Giants, beating the Ravens. This is one hell of a team, and this is one hell of a future quarterback. And I have to give all the credit in the world to Mike Shanahan and RG3. 6 games in a row to take the division out from the overrated Giants' nose. And I love it.
As well as the Cowboys, who
they
might finally be finished. I think they might have to move around from Tony Romo and Jason Garrett. But that is a great match, and that might actually help Robert Griffin's case as a Rookie of the Year here because of the win streak. 3-6, like you said, Pep was a great season.
Unbelievable. Backs against your wall every single game, and you just come in and you say, this is my time.
There was a lot of surprises, though. I mean, like we said, all 3 of those guys get into the playoffs.
Maybe all 3 rookies.
Maybe the benching of Alex Smith and bringing Colin Kaepernick, and
that's a big
elevating
thing too.
His team
but
as well.
Just when you're down and out and the chips are not in your favor, and you just go all in time and time again, and you take it home in the end. And that's what I believe the Redskins deserve biggest surprise of the year.
I think also that Tim Tebow didn't get a start. I thought as soon as he went to the Jets...
That's a pity surprise. We're just bringing him up for... We're just helping you out, Tim, because you don't have anything.
I'm just saying. I mean, when you saw Tim Tebow go to the Jets, you think that media... You didn't think that Tim Tebow was going to get a start somewhere in the season?
But it's Rex Ryan, so anything's possible. He just was probably like, you know what, I'm going to prove everybody wrong and be a moron. I'm not going to play him because I want to outsmart everybody.
Look for Tim Tebow to be in Jacksonville next year.
All right. Finally, moving on to matchups. The Texans have defeated the Bengals 19-13.
Right.
Thoughts on this?
Now, I picked the Texans to win this game. I know we didn't say it yet, but I was going to go with it.
We picked the Bengals. We did pick
right. I think the difference between these two teams, I think the Houston was a little bit, they have those big players. I don't think Cincinnati
Houston was just run down to the mat.
They were so beaten down after losing tough games against the Patriots,
was
and then losing to a divisional rival in the Colts. And it's just, I just didn't see them winning that game. But hey, credit to them for doing it. That may be the jump start they need, but I don't think it's going to be jump start enough to beat the Patriots.
You think part of that was just that they didn't have to win? That yes, they were playing for the #1 seed, but they already locked everything up about 4 weeks ago.
I don't even think it was that.
I think they just choked.
But what about this? Like I said, the last couple of games.
I think the inexperience of being in the top spot in a conference got to them and made them think, oh, we could waste this game on. We can screw this up. But
they were in the top spot last year as well.
Well, no, I mean, but just the inexperience. The inexperience again. I understand they're in the top spot, but it's what you do with the spot. It's even if you get there, it's what you do with it. They didn't really do much with it last year either.
It doesn't look like they need the spot though, because they got the first win anyways. But anyways, like I said. They needed to be healthy, and they finally were. They got Matt Schaub, the trio, Matt Schaub, Andrew Johnson, and Arian Foster all healthy going into the playoffs. So what I was saying is last week I actually picked Indy to beat Houston, and they did, and same did Peps, because I think the thing was they just wanted to be healthy going into the playoffs, and they finally are. They win that game. I think the difference between the two teams, Cincinnati, they don't have that electrifying player. Yeah, Adrian Green's that guy, but no targets in the first half.
Almost saw that electrifying pass. So.
No targets in the first half. All you got to do is gear up on A.J. Green. They don't. Ben Jarvis Green to me is the definition of a solid player. I think they're one more player away, maybe like another slot receiver away, maybe another outside guy, maybe like a Vincent Jackson, a Randall Cobb guy who can go over the middle. Andy Dalton's a solid quarterback, but I think they're one more offensive player away, and they just don't have that electrifying offense. The defense is solid. Geno Atkins, solid secondary, solid line back and core.
I understand this, but I'm just saying, like 19-13. You didn't even throw for a touchdown in the game. You throw a pick, and you got 1 touchdown, 4 field goals. Like,
but the thing about this
I understand, but it's just you're facing the 6th seed. I mean, the Patriots would have stomped the Bengals. True. The Houston Texans, not the type of team that are going to stomp over anybody. Therefore, when they go into Foxborough next week, their little momentum that they have from this win is going to wilter away immediately when Tom Brady comes into this lock.
But 19-13, isn't that a bona fide, Houston Texans win right there?
It is.
They held A.J. Green the whole half, and they made sure that, this defense is going to get... They're going to stop.
It was a bona fide Texans loss last year against the Ravens, too.
Arian Foster got his yards. The big thing about Houston is they need Arian Foster to run the ball well, and they need that Houston secondary. J.J. Watt to stop everybody.
You lock Arian Foster down, man, it's going to be a tough day for Matt Schaub.
But they didn't lock him down because that's...
No, I'm just saying, that's what we've seen.
Oh, true.
In the regular season.
I just think Texas will keep up next week.
I'm just saying, T.J. Yates, not...
I'm just saying for the sake of next week's matchup, Patriots-Texans. True. All right. staying in the AFC, moving on to tomorrow night. When's tomorrow's game?
Yep.
Colts Ravens.
This is going to be tough. Perhaps you want to take this one first?
Is it a day game or a night game?
I think this is the 1 o'clock game here.
I've been going back and forth with this one the most, along with the Redskins and Seahawks. It's still up in the air for me, but I'm going to have to go with the Baltimore Ravens at home. I believe that I want the Colts to beat the Ravens so bad and everything. I believe if the Colts had the home field, then they would beat the Ravens.
What if this was a neutral field?
If it was a neutral field, I think the Colts would take it. I think the Ravens being at home is the biggest thing that they need right now. With a down on the luck Joe Flacco, who feeds off this crowd and feeds off compliments and needs all that stuff to be the quarterback to step up in these games. But I believe that having that home field is the reason why they're going to win this game. I think Luck's going to try his best at the end, but I think that the Ravens are going to pull this one out. And I mean, just the experience I think is going to help. The experience is going to help. I think the experience is going to help for them, and I think that they'll pull it off at home. This is the win of the season, the win of Ray Lewis's career that they need right now, and I think they'll take it now. They need it now more than ever, and I think they'll get it on the last 5 games of the season where they've been choking. But I believe that they'll win this game, and I think the experience is going to matter, and being at home too is going to help.
Yeah, I think Fox kind of hinted on this. I think there was an announcement this week that really was a great idea for the Ravens, and I don't even know if this could even be fact, but I think it was just great to just kind of lower the Chuck Pagano, lower the Chuck Strong thing, lower the whole Andrew Luck thing, bring Ray Lewis in here, announce that this is his retiring season, so now all the players are like, oh, we got to get ready for Ray Lewis. You know, the defense, we got our captain back, we got this team back. I am going to go with the Chuck Strong story. I'm going to say this is my only shocker this week. I'm going to go with Indy over Baltimore. Going into the Ravens, I think what I saw last week, what Andrew Luck did against that Houston secondary, I think this is going to be huge. I think Baltimore has a worse secondary than Houston ever since they lost Ladarius Webb this year. They can't cover anybody.
I kind of want to make a reference to a game like this with, it was Steelers, Broncos on the road against Steelers. You think this could be another one of those situations? Rookie quarterback comes in and takes down the veteran team.
Except this quarterback's actually a quarterback.
Oh no, I know. I'm just saying the situation.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know. I think it's going to be a close game. I think the Ravens' home field advantage is going to help them. I think it's going to be it. I think they need that crowd behind them, or else they wouldn't do it because they're down on their luck team right now. I think they need it, and Ray Lewis come back is going to be huge momentum.
Yeah, but I mean, the biggest story is definitely Chuck Pagano here.
Oh yeah,
and that kills any Ray Lewis thing. But I do like the idea
game. It really won't matter to me. I'd love to see the Colts win.
I'm gonna
pick the Ravens.
We both made a prediction with the Indy over Houston last game, but there was also another prediction I had with T.Y. Hilton. I'm a huge game. He did. I think they might have another thing here with T.Y. Hilton being able to be that deep threat against this Ravens secondary. Ed Reed's getting a little bit slow. Yes, he's still a dominant free safety like he's ever been. But I think T.Y. Hilton has those legs to get by him. I think Andrew Luck's going to be able to stretch the field, and that's why I think Andrew Luck is going to win.
One hell of a game.
It is going to be a good game. But I think Flacco, he doesn't gear up for these big games. It's more like the defense gearing up here.
But I think the defense and Ray Rice can take it away.
Right. But with this being said, the only thing that's going to help me, the only thing that's possibly thinking that maybe Indy's not going to win this game is the whole revenge factor with the whole Patriots thing. And that's why I've been saying that they are the biggest Patriots threat, but I don't think that's going to affect Andrew Luck.
Whoever wins this game, Broncos are going to have a nice, tough game next week.
It is going to be a tough game.
All right, so Colts, Ravens.
Yep.
All right. Moving on to the NFC. Packers defeat the Vikings 24-10. Thoughts on this?
I think this wasn't really a shocker. The Vikings going in were the biggest deficit of any team on the spread. They were -8, they were +8, which means they're supposed to lose by 8 at least. And I mean, losing by 14 just proves it. I mean, AP did all he could do.
He's got 99 yards.
They didn't even have Ponder playing.
They threw Ponder in at the very end.
What was that?
They did.
They didn't even have him playing. They did Joe Webb. Why would you? How could you
He
not
was
play
missing
your
his
first
receivers by 10
playoff
yards.
game of your career? First playoff game of your career, and you don't even really play in the game until the end where it's meaningless. I don't know. I just think they got what was pretty much coming to them.
Shows it right there.
Vikings at Packers, first of all, they have the strike against them that they're on the road. Second of all, they don't have a strong mentality of a quarterback.
What did they think that?
Third of all, I mean, the defense isn't even that awesome either, except Jaron Allen and a couple others. But I just don't.
It's AP.
It's AP. It's AP's team, and AP going on the road against Green Bay and Rodgers in that set, strong offense. It proved right that they weren't going to pull it out, especially having Joe Webb in there.
Yeah. I think the thing was last week, the fact that the Packers did lose to Adrian Peterson, I think that it was only going to help the Packers in this game, especially going into Lambeau. You can't play in Lambeau in December or January. It's too tough in playoff time. Aaron Rodgers is too experienced for the, anytime Christian Ponder's in there, that's a huge mismatch. Throw Christian Ponder out of there, who, by the way, pulled a huge Jay Cutler here. You look at Robert Griffin, who's still limping his way to the playoffs. He's doing anything he can to go in there. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning coming back from ACL injury, coming in there doing whatever he can to get his team to the playoffs, first round bye.
That's the difference between a real
you got to have Christian Ponder. You got to get out there. You got to play, man. You're not even going to get that many throws. Joe Webb only completed 11 passes. This is Adrian Peterson's team. You got to get out there. But the thing with the Packers, they were just too good. This offense is too good. 10 different receivers got a catch here. Aaron Rodgers showing. Oh yeah, Alex Green's a little bit hurt. Ryan Grant's doing nothing this year. All right, I'm still reigning MVP. I'm going to go 10 receivers on their ass.
Which brings it to a point, though. You said it's tough to play in. It's tough to play in Lambeau. They're going to be on the road in sunny San Fran next week.
That's going to be fantastic.
We'll talk about that next week.
But this week, I mean, I think the whole mismatch. As soon as Christian Ponder was out of there, maybe the Vikings can go in there and beat them. And as soon as Ponder was gone, it was just too much.
Not even a chance.
It wasn't going. It was going to be anything.
I feel bad for AP. I wish he could come to a team where I actually give him a chance to win a Super Bowl.
There were some plays that I thought Joe Webb was actually looking like he was purposely throwing it out of bounds, but no, he was trying to find his receiver. He was just missing him by a solid 15 yards.
He's pretty used to
very
inaccurate balls.
I mean, he's got a gun, but
if there was an award for like the farthest thrown ball, I'd win that.
It's a nobody.
Pretty much nothing after that. All right, moving on. Staying in the NFC with the final game of the week, definitely Seahawks at Skins.
I'm on the Seahawks bandwagon. I think what Russell Wilson has done these last few weeks has been huge.
It's just a heartbreaker. Me thinking about it too for RG3 in his season.
Hey, at least a rookie's getting the next round.
The thing is, the only thing that's possibly going to give the Redskins a chance here is that it's not at Quest Field. Everyone's saying that Seahawks are just too dominant at Quest Field with that 12th man. And Robert Griffin with that huge win against the Cowboys, possibly they have the momentum going in here. I think the thing is the Seahawks playbook. I think Pete Carroll's been a great coach. He knows how to do anything with the players he has. You see that with the Patriots when he was the coach of them. He can really utilize the players that he has. I think he's utilizing Russell Wilson the best of his abilities.
Yeah.
Sidney Rice is out there. Golden Tate's all of a sudden emerging as a top receiver in this league. And, Zach Miller, a great blocking tight end for this team. Great offensive line. Russell Okung, Paul McQuestion, who's all of a sudden a Pro Bowler. Max Unger. On the defense, Shermanator, you got Chancellor, you got Earl Thomas, Brandon Browner back from the PED suspension. I really like this defense. Bobby Wagner. I think the Seattle defense is too tough. I think Robert Griffin doesn't have enough weapons, and I think it's health. I think Russell Wilson's a lot more healthy than Robert Griffin is.
Yeah.
He looks like he's still limping.
The thing is, when he runs, he makes the decision fully in his head before he runs. And that's why I think RG3 just thinks option offense. I can run. I'm going to run.
Wilson's the best decision maker of the three.
Yeah. Yes. Definitely.
The thing is, he could
get away from anything.
Yeah, they are solid on both
ends
of the ball. Solid on defense, solid on offense. Plus, you insert the smarts and so smart of a quarterback at a rookie season for Russell Wilson to bring his team this far back, all these game-winning drives. I believe it's just destiny that they're going to go in and beat the Redskins. And Russell Wilson will then even more fully prove that he is the rightful rookie to be the Rookie of the Year when he beats RG3 in Washington this week. Coming up.
I think the biggest thing is, and if you're seeing, if you still think that Robert Griffin is better, and he might be, I disagree. I think Russell Wilson is the better of the two. I think just defensively, I think there's just too much firepower on the Seattle Seahawks.
I feel like his inconsistencies in the Redskins is why they were that 3-6 team at first. Granted, I give him credit for coming back like that, but Seahawks.
Agreed. Marshawn Lynch.
So all in favor of the Seahawks?
Mm-hmm.
All right, all in favor of the Seahawks. All right. Finally, some news. Lovie Smith out as Bears head coach. Thoughts?
This is a shocker. Chicago, it's more Jay Cutler, in my opinion, than Lovie Smith. I think he's been a great coach this last decade. 10 wins this year is a solid team. It's just a tough division and a tough NFC in general. I thought the thing was Chicago was 7-1, and they really had a tough second half of the season. I mean, we were sitting here on this panel, and we were saying that I even said Chicago had the best defense in the whole entire league. And at the time, they did have the best defense the whole time.
I didn't believe they were.
Right.
I didn't even believe they were a playoff team.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
When you're 7-1, the playoffs are looking pretty good.
Yeah, and that was the thing with Lovie Smith.
That's true.
Oh, God.
6 losses in that second half of the season. That was the determining factor for Lovie Smith, and I ultimately think was the bad night.
I feel bad for Lovie Smith because I just don't like Jay Cutler. I believe Jay Cutler should be exported.
I don't know why. If he has to approval on his finger, he's going to get out there and play. He can't just sit out anything. I can't play here.
I just can't stand him. I knew this.
You got to get out there.
I knew this team was going to choke. I've said probably terrible things about them, like I've said about other teams. Not that I care or feel bad.
Sure.
I just think it's unfair to Lovie Smith. I like him as a coach. I mean, he's done a relatively good job. It's just the fading away in the second half of the season that's been killing him in general the last couple of years. You can't just put on this good show and then fade away when the time comes where you need to step up. I mean, it's just, I think they saw as they need to change and they need to maybe just rebuild this team, and maybe getting him out there could be a start.
They unfortunately play in the toughest division in football. With Detroit Lions is their worst team.
Yeah.
In
and
the
sometimes
division.
they even compete.
Packers, Vikings, it's just too tough.
Yeah, very tough. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it is.
Moving on, Andy Reid to the Chiefs for 5 years.
You just send this guy into an even worse situation.
This guy's
it's literally just changing Andy Reid to the same bad
it's
team.
It's like Deshaun Jackson for Bo.
It's gonna be the same outcome.
And shit for shit, you know.
It's just in the situation they've.
The only thing that's added to the Kansas City roster is his Andy Reid's mustache. That's it.
Yeah,
that is the only change.
Do you think that
whole entire
Chiefs might be able to make a play for Michael Vick here?
Who?
Michael Vick. Andy Reid's the only guy that can throw.
Oh, yeah.
That's the dumbest thing. Then I would punch Andy Reid in the face. Like,
is that dumb?
It's totally dumb.
Both Chiefs they get a #1 pick here. They can get a quarterback. Maybe Matt Barkley. Have Michael Vick for a few years. Andy Reid trusts him. Maybe he has a good soul. They can't get worse.
You just said pick another quarterback. Have Michael Vick be your quarterback for a couple of years.
Right. Get Matt Barkley, who's not quarterback ready. Have Michael Vick for the next couple of years.
Michael Vick to the AFC. Hello, Michael Vick.
Here's what you need to do.
Even worse reality.
You need to take both of these teams. Take like half of one team, half of the other team combined.
Michael Vick
just get rid of one team.
Well, they have like Matt Castle. I mean, anything's.
We'll call them the Philadelphia Chiefs. So just combine both teams. They're so horrible in themselves that we'll just turn them into one team, and hopefully they'll at least be decent. I just don't see that being that great of a move. I mean, good for Reid to get another job. I mean, right away. Why the Chiefs of all places? It's the worst situation out there. You're not even good in bad situations. Why would you want to go to the worst situation in the NFL at 2-14? A player just had a horrible murder-suicide that happened, everything with the team or whatever. Yeah. But I mean, it's just, why would you even want to step your foot into there, even if it is.
I'm sorry, I just don't even think that needed to be mentioned.
No, I'm just saying.
It's funny because it's true. It's bad. It's just
it's awful. It's true for the people around.
It's true because you're. If you didn't even follow sports and you just listened to what you just said, that's just so that's like the worst possible situation that could have happened for the Chiefs.
And then they're 2-14.
To go 2-14, have something like that, and then get Andy Reid. Like if you're a Chiefs fan right now, things aren't looking good. Things aren't looking good for you.
I think the thing is the 5 years. I mean, the guy looking at his health,
looking at his resume.
Well, this is the thing.
I know. He got to the playoffs.
5 NFC championships, I think.
A Super Bowl.
Right?
And a horrible fourth quarter that he could have done more with. But the thing is, Andy Reid, they look at him as an offensive coordinator type head coach, and that's what they need. The worst offense in football this year. They got some parts there. They got the #1 pick now. That could be Matt Barkley. All of a sudden, you have a quarterback.
Philly.
No, offensive play caller. North Turner's also.
You had the offense in Philly, but you decided to ruin
Yeah.
that.
But the thing is, they have some weapons there. They got Jamal Charles, they got Dwayne Bowe, they got Dexter McCluster. They have a solid offensive line. Brandon Albert. Now you put Matt Barkley in there. All of a sudden you have a solid offense. You can work with that defense a little bit. Maybe get Romeo Crennel back as the defensive coordinator. I don't hate the move as far as offensively goes. I think the thing is, I would have liked a younger coach in there with this younger team. But I like that they have those pieces to work with offensively as one of the best offensive play callers Andy Reid is. So that's why I'm going to
take Crennel back.
That would be nice.
I'd take it back for defensive coordinator.
Take them all back. Charlie Weiss too.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't hate a Michael Vick move to Chiefs.
Back then.
The dynasty.
Yeah, I just don't think about it. The Chiefs, just tough situation. They're just looking for any out, and they're like, oh, maybe Reid can help us. Maybe Reid can help us. But I mean, he can maybe. I bet he will. But I'm just saying, like
2 seasons ago, they were a playoff contending team. Then Matt Castle got hurt. Then the whole coaching situation this year. Maybe they have all the pieces back. They finally get a coach. They get Matt Barkley. They're a solid offense. They can possibly get back to the playoffs.
I mean,
weak division.
True.
North Turner's gone from that division. You got Denver now, but possibly
not really weak division anymore with Peyton Manning.
Not anymore, but still, it's open there. You can get some wins against Raiders. You can get some wins against San Diego.
All right, and moving on to our final top story of the day. We've already spoke about it. Ray Lewis has announced his retirement.
I don't really think the final story. The guy's 36. He's barely
there. Yeah.
But I agree. It's just, he had a great career. He really revolutionized the middle linebacker position.
It becomes a story when he announces it right there.
Yeah, and
he probably did that. He probably did that kind of intentionally too.
Oh yeah, definitely to get himself the story.
Yeah. That's what the Ravens love, the media stunts, especially for the playoff games.
Ray Lewis just loves getting his name out there. He was the one who said that they need to end the lockout so that murders ended. What kind of correlation
linebackers in the whole entire history of the NFL. It's just unbelievable career. Even when he won a Super Bowl, and
I think the guy's the definition of the NFL. He combines that viciousness, that tenacity, as well as he's going to.
It's like the KG of the NFL.
True.
That.
A leader for that defense.
Yep.
Last decade.
All right, well, that pretty much sums it up for this episode of The Pitch, unless any of you have anything to add.
Shout-outs to 2 of our new watchers. Keith from Drake It, John from Methuen. Those are my 2 shout-outs.
I feel like I know those guys.
No idea. All right, no, I'm just kidding.
All right, well, that sums it up for this week's episode of The Pitch. You can subscribe to us on YouTube, obviously. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook. Till next week, have a good one.